Uh, hello, carnivores, herbivores, and omnivores.
Oh yeah, before we get into the game, I should probably go over the content warnings. I will bring them up on screen. I'm not going to read through them because it's a lot of spoilers. Nothing is really visually graphic, in case people were worried about that. But it does cover in the text quite a few of these things, at least on a surface level. The second to last one doesn't happen to the main character. Yeah. Right, and with that out of the way, let's get to this. Wake up again. You wake to chaos, a confusion of light and heat and smoke. Fire. Your head is pounding. You must have hit it and blacked out, but you aren't sure how you got here, or what on Vertumna is happening. There's something important you need to remember. Your stomach lurches as the floor crumbles beneath your feet, then collapses. Your body aches and your eyes burn from the smoke. A figure appears through the flames. It's your friend. Your friend? Wait, why can't you remember her name? She's gesturing and shouting at you, but all you hear is a ringing in your ears. I think I'm gonna ask what's going on this time. What's going on? You try to speak, but the words come out jumbled. Your throat seizes around a lungful of choking smoke, and you feel dizzy and confused. Your friend pulls you out of the rubble. She throws your arm over her shoulder and half drags you towards the door. Through it, you see a deep, eerie twilight, dark blue and cold against the heat of the fire around you. Glow season. Glowing eyes. You shake your head to clear your vision. Is that some kind of dog? Like from Earth? The creature howls and lunges, its jaws open. You are born on the Stratospheric, Earth's first colony ship. Halfway through its 20-year voyage to a wormhole at the edge of the Sol system, your parents run the hydroponic gardens, which make fresh air and vegetables for the ship. Like the other colonists, they bravely chose to make this one-way journey to the uncharted planet Vertumna 4 in the hope that they could escape Earth. They had you the old-fashioned way, merging their genes like they merged their cultures and traditions. They name you... I'm gonna go for Selene. Selene. You're a bright-eyed child with an active imagination. Sometimes too active, your mom says. Yep. Sure, you can change these sliders at any time during your playthrough, not just at the beginning, just so people are aware. I'm just gonna neutral it up. Good times. Might shift it around later, but yeah, just honestly, I like their neutral appearance best. If I'm going with the neutral appearance, I might as well just go neutral all the way. Well, I have mixed it up and gone with both feminine and masculine in the past. I'm not particularly attached to either or. Your earliest memories are of your 4th birthday. There's a big cake with a neat hollow effect that looks like fire, but when you reach out to touch it, all you get is a handful of icing. Yummy. Your favourite present is... I am probably going to go for a Sportsball, because I think I'm probably going to want to get toughness up a bit in the beginning. You kick that ball up and down the corridors all day. You want to play with Tom and the other kids, but Security Chief Rhett says you should wait a few years. He seems nice. You don't understand why the older kids are scared of him. From as early as you can remember, you've had vivid dreams every night. You dream about your friends, but they're more grown up. You dream about your parents too, only they're more serious. At night you explore a vast, unexplored wilderness under wide open skies, enjoying the feeling of rain hitting your face. Except, sometimes you dream of monsters. Sometimes the bad dreams make you scared to go to sleep. So every night before lights out, your dad tells you a bedtime story. You often ask for tales of a place you've only seen in holidays. Your dad doesn't want to talk about it. How about we save that for another time, he'll say. Or maybe when you're older. He prefers made-up stories. Your favourite is... I'm gonna go stories from your dreams. Too good. You've always been weird that way. You beg him to tell you stories about aliens called the Gardeners, and insist that they are real people you've met, or will meet, or something. They're from your dreams, but it seems so real. It's more like remembering. It's hard to explain. Your family doesn't understand, but your dad is happy to play make-believe. Together, you make up new adventures for the Gardeners every night. Every child on the stratospheric is given one genetic enhancement. By age 6, you see the first signs of yours. I'm gonna go for extra fingers. Who doesn't want to have a... Yeah, I'm gonna go for extra fingers. Who doesn't want to have, you know, nice 5 fingers and 1 thumb per hand? It's good times. You've heard that long ago, having a 6th finger would have been something you'd hide or even remove. But Auntie Steedart says... Steedent? says some of the best musicians back on Earth have the gene for extra fingers, just like you. You're also very good at making crafts, which you do with your friend... yes. That's Anemone over there. Energetic and loyal. That's tough and gentle Cal. That's bold and confident Mars. That's quiet and adventurous Dis. Tangent and Tammy aren't on this screen, neither is Congruence. This is probably why I should cover that. If you see the little purple shuriken, as you can read right there, that means that you only have that option available to you due to your actions in a previous life. Might not be the last one you had, but it will be from one of them. I actually haven't had this option before, so I'm gonna take it. Because generally speaking, it's a good idea to unlock new things, and I know you can unlock the rest of these just by befriending the other people later in game. It's quite difficult to unlock the congruence card. It takes quite some time and a specific path. So I'm gonna take congruence here. Oh, that was definitely worth it. By the time you're 8, you spend more time talking to the ship's computer than others your age. You just seem to know some things about her without understanding why, like how to ask nicely for her to treat you like one of the adults, unlocking commands that the other kids don't even know exist. It's a trick you do, a string of numbers and letters recited in a whisper, a secret language between you and her alone. You're 10 years old when the ship finally reaches the wormhole. Professor Hal says it's like a doorway to other star systems, with the planet Vertumna 4 on the other side. You run emergency drills for months to prepare. When the day finally comes, it starts with a rumble, then things start to slide off the tables. You hurry to gather near the escape pods, just in case. Single file, everyone, Professor Hal instructs you to follow him. You've dreamed of this day since you were in diapers. It's one of your earliest memories, even though it hasn't happened yet. As the ship passes through the wormhole, the shields will fail. If you don't recalibrate them, your parents' hydroponic farms will be lost. And yeah, like I said before, this isn't my first time through the game. If this was your first time through the game, you wouldn't have that little tidbit of information because your character wouldn't know it yet. Because they hadn't had a life where they realised that was the case. So I'm going to try to recalibrate the shields. This hasn't worked before, but I keep doing it every time because I kind of hope eventually I'll unlock the option to actually succeed at it. So yeah, let's go. You give Professor Hal the slip, a move you've practiced for this day, and rush to the engine wing, past confused adults who try to stop you. You find the nearest congruence terminal. Enter the root access code. Okay, so I haven't had this option before, so I might actually be able to pull this off. I assume this is because I befriended congruence this time, so I must have unlocked the ability to befriend congruence last time, befriended congruence this time, and thus have the access to this? Maybe? Not sure. Congruence agrees to help you because you are her friend and because you know her favourite string of letters and numbers. Access code accepted. Please enter the shield calibration parameters. Yeah, I don't know. Okay, that's probably a new thing I need to find, what the shield parameters I'm gonna need are. So, probably not pulling it off this time either. But hey, one day. You know the general concept, but can't explain the steps to her because you just don't know enough about the ship's engineering. You try everything you can think of, getting increasingly agitated, but she doesn't understand what you want or how to do it. The ship enters the wormhole while you're still trying to talk to figure it out. You black out, just like you always do. Gradually, your consciousness reforms. You wake up in the medbay. The medbay under you plays a soft tone and an automated voice speaks. 2 weeks have elapsed. The patient's cranial injury has completed healing. They may now be safely deep. The medbay under you plays a soft tone and an automated voice speaks. 2 weeks have elapsed. The patient's cranial injury has completed healing. They may now be safely discharged. As the fog lifts from your head, you realise something seems different about this room. It's so bright. You try to focus on the window. Something is definitely different. Sunlight? Instead of the familiar blackness of space, bright light from the twin blue and yellow sun is streaming through the windows. You peer out and see fields, glass-walled domes, and walls ringed by giant mushroom-like trees. There are construction materials everywhere, and people walking around outside on the ground. You better get out there and join them. Not too enthusiastic, okay? You know, take a step back, relax, you know, brand new world, but also, who knows what's out there, man. Cautiously step outside to your new life. Oh, Tammy jumps as you step out of the ship's quarters behind her. You're awake. Are you all better? You better go see your dad. She points southeast towards some geodesic domes? Am I saying that right? I don't think I'm saying that right. Oh well. To walk, click on the ground. Click on characters to talk to them. Okay, so you can walk like that. You can also use arrow keys or WASD. So don't feel like you have to click, but you can. This is Tammy. They're one of the ones that you didn't see before on the friend screen. I'm going to quickly go through the interface. These are your character skills. They're in 3 broad categories. At each of those little bubbles along the bottom, 33, 66, and 100, you unlock a little perk that will help you with stuff and things. Some unlock things you can buy, others make it easier to win skill challenges. Yeah. And in animals, some unlock extra like gear slots for like pets and stuff, or let you train your pets to be better and stuff. And yeah, there are pets in this that you can get. There's at least 4 I'm aware of. Yeah, I've had all of them at least once of the 4 that I'm aware of. If there's more than that, then sorry for any I missed. Yeah. Next is Rebellion. Yeah, you have a little slider from 0 Rebellion to 100 Rebellion. You start at 50. If you have high loyalty, so low Rebellion, adults in general will tend to like you more. But high Rebellion isn't necessarily bad, just means adults won't necessarily trust you as far. Both high Rebellion and high loyalty unlock things, and high Rebellion, high loyalty also block certain options off from you. And it can have, depending on which ending you go for, some impact on what endings are available to you. Stress is, it's not too bad if it hits 100. It's just if it hits 100 you have no option but to spend the next season resting. You don't want to have it hit 100 or high right before a critical event, because if it's at 100, there's less leeway for you to fail tasks, because if you are close to succeeding a task but not quite there yet, you can spend stress to power through. Most activities also have a baseline amount of stress that they take just at baseline, actually. Kudos is, like it says there, reputation-based currency. You can use it to buy items. You can only have a certain number of items equipped, though, which, if you go into memories, these are cards you play while trying to pass skill challenges and stuff. The numerical value obviously affects it. Colors also affect it, though. That will be covered in more detail shortly, I believe. Gear is, yeah, you keep adding to you guys can read. So yeah, this is gear. As you can see, there's 3 locked slots and 1 open slot that has a sports ball in it. You can own multiple objects without unlocking more slots and just trade out which one you have equipped. For now, obviously, I'm going to keep the only one I have equipped. And they'll generally give a non-challenge bonus and then a challenge bonus, although that's not true for all of them. That's true for most. And then we don't have any collectibles right now. Friends. Currently, I'm only really familiar with congruence, but eventually, as I meet everyone, I'll unlock the pictures. Yes. And then, of course, there's settings. You can jump straight to credits. Be like, game over. Nah. And, yeah. Oh, yeah, and you can turn on your ability to see character traits. I think I'll leave mine on for now, just because it's a nice little helping hand to see. And yeah, this is my character's dad over here, and he has a little speech bubble with 3 dots. It means he wants to speak to me, so I'm gonna go speak to him. And yes, his name is Geranium. Solane, your dad gives you a big, warm hug. I'm so happy you're finally awake. Dr. Instance thought it'd be best to keep you asleep while your noggin healed. Your mother and I thought you might sleep away the whole year, my snoozy little gooseberry. Oh, gotta love Dad. He checks your head and looks relieved. He was clearly very worried about you, but covers it with jokes and smiles. Aw, love you, Dad. Welcome to Vertumna, he says, gesturing around you. You've never seen the stratospheric from the outside, except in pictures. The ship has been separated in 2, and parts taken off to form other buildings, and a big wall around the whole colony. The alien jungle creeps right up to the wall. Only the I still don't think I'm pronouncing this right. Only the geodesic greenhouses pass outside it, dotting their way up the hill. I'm like 10 years old. How did you do this so fast? You've been asleep for weeks, my dear aubergine. Oh, man. He says. And these geodesic greenhouses practically put themselves up. But some of this is only a quick temporary solution, he admits. We'll keep growing and improving things. One day our little colony will be as big as a whole city. Oh, before I forget, he pulls a package out from his satchel and hands it to you. You blink and stare at it blankly. Don't you know what day it is? He asks. You honestly don't. You remind him that you've been asleep in medbay. Happy birthday! He shouts, wrapping you in a warm hug. Your birthday already? You feel a dizzying sense of deja vu. You stare hard at the wrapped package. You know exactly what's in there. You remember it. No, you dreamed about this package some years ago on the ship. Inside will be a small medallion in the shape of a sun that your dad has made by hand. I'm gonna open the package. How did you know this? It's exactly as you imagined, as you dreamed. A feeling of panic rises in your throat. Your hand shakes. But how? Your dad notices. Are you okay, Selene? He snaps his fingers. Dr. Instance shouldn't have let you out so early. Sometimes those sleeping meds take a while to wear off. They might make your head feel funny for a few hours. You nod. Maybe that's all this is. Someone shouts your dad's name. Listen, I'm so sorry, Selene, he says, but I have to get back to work. There was an accident when we landed and... He stops himself. Don't worry, we're going to fix it, your mother and I. Professor Hal is expecting you in classes, if you're feeling up to it, your dad says, pointing west to the engineering wing, in the rear end of the bisected ship. Then he points to the large doors you came out of earlier, or you can relax in our quarters until you're feeling better. We'll talk later tonight, he says, then kisses the top of your head and ruffles your hair. Have a wonderful birthday, Selene. I love you. I love you too, Dad. Good times. Good times. To enter buildings, click on the door or click the flag beside it, or get close and press enter, or another action button. Then choose an activity for the month and to gain skills and advance time. There are 13 months in a year, 10 years to the end of the game. You'll only have time to focus on a few things. Alright. Okay, let's check these places out. First I'll talk to Dis. Hey Dis. You see Dis sitting on the ground beside some bushes. Is he hiding from somebody? He seems to be watching the gate in the wall to the south. He seems to be watching the gate in the wall to the south, where grown-ups are coming and going. Kids aren't allowed past the walls, he says quietly, without looking up. They say there's nothing to be afraid of, but then, why do we need walls? You stare at the gate, and have a sudden rush of memory, so strong you think you might faint. You imagine something crashing through the wall, something enormous and dark and wriggly. It does look wriggly, that's to be sure. For years in space, you've had half-remembered nightmares of monsters, of your ship being destroyed, of sifting through wreckage that used to be your home, trying to find something. Your dad always told you the dreams weren't real. Breaking you from your daydream, Dis whispers, I think there are monsters out there. I believe you. No you don't, he says. You're being sarcastic, I can tell. Nobody believes me. He turns his back and ignores you. I'm gonna leave him alone. I'm a very mature 10-year-old, but I've lived 1,000 lives, so you know, it'd be like... Well, you tried. This is so sensitive about being teased. Yeah, he is. But Give the kid a break. Hey. Hiya, Solane. Anemone. Oh my god. This is gonna be a one. Hiya, Solane. Anemone? Yeah, I think that's it. Anemone seems really at home here. She's rolling a sports ball around with her foot, making patterns in the weird blue snow. This stuff is different from snow on Earth, she tells you, because it isn't cold. But it's still neat, and you can make stuff out of it. Your foggy head clears a little. Anemone is simple, physical, real. You always feel grounded near her. Have you seen any monsters? Nope, just some little bugs. The grown-ups would say if there were monsters, right? She shrugs, then smiles reassuringly. Even if there were monsters, Chief Rex would beat them all up. So don't worry. My mom says we're safer here than we were in space. You both look over at the wreckage of the Stratospheric, the spaceship where you were born. Anemone's mom, Auntie Student, is probably right about that. Look what that wormhole did to your ship. What are you making? Just snow spirals, she says, but earlier me and Cal made a big snow pal. You missed it while you were sleeping in Med Bay. She smiles her broad, gapy smile at you. Now that you're awake, we can play. Doesn't seem what a 10-year-old would say, but I'm gonna say it anyway. Why aren't you in school? She smacks her forehead. School! I wondered where everybody was. I guess I'm gonna be late for humanities class. She doesn't look very worried to you. Yeah. If I was 10 years old, I wouldn't be worried about missing school either. Especially on a brand new planet. It's okay, she says. Professor Howell's chill. He won't mind, but we should probably go now. She grins and starts running towards engineering. Hey, Racia! No fair, she's getting a head start. Yup. Oh man. Anyone else to interact with before I move time on? Does not look like it. Okay, let's check out each place in turn then. This is geoponics. The greenhouses have different biomes inside, growing plants from Earth that might belong in a desert, jungle, or temperate forest. Some are so delicate you have to spray off any germs in an airlock before you can enter. The seasonal garden outside is dotted with blue nobodies, little flowers with what look like wriggling creatures stuck inside each one. A sign explains it's a decoy, meant to attract some kind of flying predator to come pollinate the flowers. Command. Command is a warren of long hallways, with doors off to tiny nondescript offices. Everyone you pass seems to be hurrying off to something important. The end of one hallway opens into the supply depot, which works as both requisitions office and general store. Beyond it are cavernous warehouses stacked high with supplies from Earth, now being gradually unpacked and distributed. I'll view the notice board, sure, why not? Colony food shortfall, minus 100%, low. Colony security rating, evaluating. Upcoming event. You'll be hosting our first annual Vertumna festival during the second month of dust. Notice. Take precautions outside the colony boundaries. Xenofauna have been sighted in the area. Survey teams are investigating. Current council and administration. Governor Udicott. Chief Administrator Seek. Command. Security Chief Rhett Garrison. We've heard about him before. Chief Engineer Instance, Engineering. Chief Cultivator Flulu, Geoponics. Chief Steward Antecedent, Quarters. I'm probably pronouncing that completely wrong. Chief Surveyor Melatonin, Expeditions. Creative names in this game, I must say. Leave. Right, down here. The ship's quarters are where everyone sleeps, eats, and hangs out. The private bedrooms are small. You share one with your parents. So, colonists spend most of their time in the big common area. There's a lounge and cafeteria, and a creche where all the little kids and babies are raised communally. Engineering. A low throbbing noise comes from the engine room, which provides power to the colony. Other corridors lead off to the teaching labs and medbay. You know the route to your classroom well, but the rest of this wing is off limits to children. Congruent, the ship's onboard AI beams down at you from a nearby holoscreen. Don't forget to study hard, Stellane. Try not to. I'll try not to. The Garrison. A small team led by Security Chief Rhett was enough to keep the peace on the stratospheric. To stay busy, they also ran the exercise gym and sportsball courts. Here on Vertumna, the garrison has expanded fast. They're building a huge wall around the colony and have an outdoor firing range and big covered dojo. And best of all, a regulation-sized sportsball court. Ah yes, I do love some sportsball. Yes, this is good times. Ah yes, I see. Sportsball. Bat, 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 bat. Ah, can't go out. Mean. Okay. Since my stress is nowhere near 100 right now, I'm definitely going over here. So it's either study life sciences for 2 biology and 1 reasoning and 15 stress, or study humanity for 2 creativity and 2 persuasion. I'm going to be real, I'm going for life sciences first, because I feel like it. Honestly. Yep. Good afternoon, my burgeoning biologists and up-and-coming chemists. Professor Hal welcomes you back to your old classroom. This afternoon, we'll learn what I like to call the wet sciences. He gestures at his hollow-projected lesson plan. Biology, chemistry, medicine, ecology, and geology. You'll learn a little bit of everything, with opportunities for further study in your favourite field. If you're looking for something a little drier, try registering for engineering classes. For today's lesson, Professor Hal tells you, we'll start with a fun group project. You'll be studying the mush tree, a prominent natural resource native to Vertumna. In ideal conditions, it can grow at a speed of over 1 meter a day and have a diameter of up to 30 centimeters. He stands on his tiptoes and gestures to illustrate. Your team will experiment to find those ideal conditions. You're teamed up with Tang and Cal, and are given a mush tree spore and a bucket to grow it in. The rest is up to you. Tang looks up the surveyor's notes on the HoloNet. Mush trees, she reads, are most abundant south of the colony in the stormy, moist regions of the subaqueous swamp. What if we use water instead of soil, Cal suggests, like they do with hydroponics? Tang nods. If they like wet weather, that might work. Selene, do you have any suggestions? Run an electric current through it.
Says it's a stormy region, right? Electrocute the bugger. What? Tang exclaims. Solane, how does that have any basis in reality? She looks to Cal for support, and he just shrugs, but he doesn't look convinced either. Neither understand why you'd want to electrocute a plant. You explain that the storms in the swamp, electrical storms, maybe somehow that, well, maybe Solane is right. Tang nods slowly. It could make sense, and if it is true, we'd be the first ones to discover it. This is enough to entice Tang into most things. Yeah, I know. Tang's great. Oh yeah, Tangent. This is Tangent, or Tang. She also wasn't in the big picture of Friends earlier, so yeah. Tangent is great. Tangent's amazing. You attach a small battery to run a weak current through your bucket of water and drop the spore in. The next morning, your spore is the only one already growing. By the end of the day, it's already 1/2 a meter tall. And the day after that, it's so huge it hits the ceiling, and you have to move it outside. Your tree outpaces all the others by a long shot. At the end of the week, Tang proudly displays an edit to the surveyor's HoloNet notes. Shows rapid growth when stimulated with mild electric current, as discovered by our junior botanists. Hey! Good times. And we've got kudos for it. And biology. Nothing better than some tasty biology points, right guys? Get to work. When you work or go to class, you'll play a quick card challenge as the month passes. Move cards to fill the 5 panes and make the best hand you can. Yes, order matters. If your total in the circle on the right reaches the goal value, you win. Depending on your cards, some challenges can't be won, but you still get a reward for doing your best. Flushes are when you have the same color together. Pairs are when you have the same number together. Currently, we get an additional bonus to pairs, so same numbers together, because of our Sportsball. Bonus from straights, which is when you increase from left to right. Straights have the best bonus if you can pull them off, but we aren't at that point yet. The more cards in a flush, pair, or straight, the higher the bonus added to your cards. Cards can also affect each other and be rearranged to find the best total score. Done. And this is what I mentioned before about using extra stress to push through if you don't have a high enough total. Yeah, that's right there, push through. Yep. I think 10 is the highest I can get, and yeah, win. Your skills increase when you work or go to school, with extra skills if you win the challenge, and a kudos bonus if you make the highest scoring hand with your cards. Working also increases stress, which prevents you from working if it reaches 100. To relieve stress, take a month off to relax in the quarters wing. Yeah, we've got an extra biology, 1 reasoning, 15 stress, and 1 kudos, which is all from the +1 for the best score. Your parents have been working from first dawn to well after dinner every day.
You know growing food is an important job, and it's vital to get crops in the ground right away, but there seems to be something more than that. It's such a change from growing up on the stratospheric, when you saw them all the time. You stay up and wait for them at night before going to bed. Though you can tell they're exhausted, they make an effort to spend time with you. And they're good parents. They don't want to leave their 10-year-old alone. I'm sorry we haven't seen much of you, little gooseberry, your dad says. Your mum watches you as she works a pebble out of her gardening tiller, which also serves as a crutch. How have you been holding up? I'm not going to say this has all happened before. I do not need the delusions card. I learned some stuff in school. Actually, you know, I'm a kid. School is so boring. Hey, I'm such a rebel. Your mom gives you the look. Oh no. So Lane, things are different now that we've landed. You won't be a kid for much longer. You have to start thinking about the future. And that future starts with a good education. Yeah. Your dad is more sympathetic. Your dad has a more sympathetic smile. You just have to find a subject you like. And you know, Professor Howell will give you kudos if you get good grades. You can spend those at the depot once it's open. You know, says your dad, raising an eyebrow at your mum, I think there are lots of different ways to learn, and school is just one of them. You can learn from working on a hobby or by helping a friend. Your mum shakes her head and sighs, though you can tell she's trying to put on a gentle expression. We both agree that this colony is an experiment, and that means we're going to do things differently than on Earth. You're old enough now to start making your own decisions about your education and future, and if that means you find your own way, we'll accept that. Yeah, you better. 10, I'm ready to decide my life. You're lucky that I see alternate realities, or we'd all be screwed. Your dad puts a hand on your shoulder. We'll be proud of you no matter what you do. Try talking to your friends. They may have ideas for how you can spend your time. Will do. And come by geoponics, your mum adds. We could use your help. Unlock shoveling dirt in geoponics. Good times. Next month. Man, this is a lot of talking. Anemone is bumping a sports ball with her wrists, trying to keep it in the air. Heads up, she shouts, and bumps the ball in your direction. Think fast. Do a trick. You catch the ball with your wrists, bop it up, and headbutt it back to Anemone. She grins her huge gap-toothed smile. Whoa, nice moves, Elaine. You bounce the ball back and forth with her, trying to see how many times you can rally and keep it going. Anemone tells you about the new Sportsball court. A proper regulation-sized court, way bigger than the little 0G one on the stratospheric. Her brother Com is coaching the junior Sportsball team this year. He's so great, she says. He's good at everything, especially spiking. He's coaching me to play awesome like him. You should come join us. Unlock Sportsball in the garrison. Talk to me, Dis. Fine. Don't talk to me. Hello, my little potato, your dad exclaims, smiling warmly. What have you been up to today? Playing in the fresh air. He breathes deeply and looks around slowly. Vertumna is magnificent, isn't it? You nod. Seasons, he shouts, throwing his hands wide. I missed seasons.
Back on Earth, it got much, much colder, and the snow wasn't half as pretty as our spark snow. He sighs, stretching. You just wait until dust season. Both the suns will be high in the sky, and it'll be real hot then, you'll see. You find your mom hard at work setting up the greenhouses with a small construction crew. You've seen these plans pinned to the wall of your family's quarters for years now. I'm still not sure I'm getting that right. These geodesic domes will house the more delicate plants from Earth. Spinach, tomatoes, even fruit. She takes a swig from her canteen as you approach. Looking for something to do, she asks? Remember, Selene, you're responsible for your own schedule now that we've landed. You can decide how to spend your time, so long as it's productive. She points towards the engineering wing, in the back half of the stratospheric's severed frame. Professor Hal is still expecting you in class, but a well-rounded education includes practical application. You're old enough to help with the work around here. She claps her hand to your shoulder. I've got another minute. Anything you need to know? What are you doing in geoponics? She looks down and nudges at a sprout growing between her feet. It's green, the colour of earth plants. We're doing our best, she says, but it hasn't been easy. I just hope the potatoes and corn can handle the weather here, she says, glancing up at the sky. I hear it rains like hell in the wet season. She takes a long look at you, up and down. You're growing fast, Selene, but you're still too young for real farming. Instead, well, there's a lot of soil that needs to be hauled. Seeing your disappointment, she nudges you in the shoulder. Don't pout. It'll help build those muscles. You'll need them now that we're out in the real world, doing real work. Out here, we'll have to rely on our physical strength. She flexes her biceps. Your mum is really strong. Yeah, my mum can wreck shit. What's happening in engineering? Hal is teaching classes on life science, engineering, and humanities. If you pass all your tests, maybe he'll let you work there in a few years. Your father thinks you're old enough that school is optional. I don't agree, but I'll be honest with you, she says, gesturing to the fields. We do need every pair of hands we can get. If you want to work with me here in geoponics, I'd suggest studying life science. If you don't have a good grasp of biology and ecology, I'm going to stick you on shovel duty. What can I do in the quarters? If you need a break, she advises, you can visit the lounge and see your friends. But, she warns, raising a finger, I don't want to see you lounging around all the time. You need to work hard too. What's the garrison? Security Chief Rhett is organising a sportsball team. You used to play, didn't you, back on the ship? It'll be different here with the planet's gravity. Of all the adults in the colony, Rhett and your mom are the most like soldiers you'd seen on a holovid. For a moment, you think your mom's going to suggest something else. Then she shakes her head. You're too young for defense training, so don't worry about that yet. Just enjoy yourself and stay out of trouble. What's going on in command? I think Steek said they needed someone to deliver supplies from the depot. They're also setting up a shop there, if you've got some kudos to spend. And of course, that's where Captain Udicott, I think? Governor Udicott works, but you shouldn't bother her. She's a busy woman, and she doesn't have your mother's patience with kids. You try not to giggle. Your mum isn't usually known for her patience. Now for the real question. Can I join expeditions? Oh, you're too young to leave the colony. It's dangerous, she shakes her head. Your father would be worried. There's so much we still don't know about the world out there. Let the adults find out. Then maybe you can join them in a few years, when you're older. She gives you a stern look. She isn't going to budge on this one. For now, stay inside the walls. Okay, bye. Man. Let me out! Let me out! Oh, fine.